Any questions? Will you ever stop being needy? Good question. Will you ever stop being needy? No, because you always have the child ego state. A good question. That's right. So then the question is whether or not, whether or not we choose to let the child make decisions for us. So, and that we don't want to, as I said, I'll keep saying this. We don't fuss at the child for being needy. We don't fuss. We don't condemn. We don't judge. We go, thank you for being a child. Children are needy. The problem, of course, is when we're wounded children. Typically, the wounded child becomes so needy they think everyone's their parent, and so they want everyone to provide their needs for them. So, which means the adult ego state just kind of sits back here, and so do the parent and the side ego, and the wounded child just leads everywhere. Will you be make me happy? Will you be pleased with me? Will you be? And that's where we want to. We don't want to go get back, dummy. We want to go, oh baby, I'm so sorry you're hurting. I'm so sorry you didn't get those needs met when you were supposed to have gotten them met. I'm so sorry. It breaks my heart to see you try to get those needs that were supposed to have been met in childhood met by relatives or strangers or spouses or friends. So let's address that. Let me help you get those needs met now in healthy ways. Do you see we want to be so gentle and kind and gracious to the child who's doing what children are supposed to do. That's all. And so the child, like I said last time, and I'll keep saying it, it's good to repeat it probably, is say the child's needy. Sometimes a child says, I want to play. I am bored. I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. I'm grumpy. Those are needs, right? Leave me alone. I was singing that the other day. I was around. He's not up here, is he? Bennett. I was in there. Oh, not Bennett, but one of his kids. Now I'm blanking on his child's name, the youngest child. Abel, right? Not Roman, the one in the middle. Abel, right? Abel. So Abel was up there, and I think just someone was holding him. And I went up there, and I said, hey, and I just kind of went like that, barely touched his belly. And he looked at me and went, and I thought, again, if I came to him as a wounded child, I'd have crushed my feelings. He made an ugly face, and he's like, get off me. He had disgusted. Who and you? But instead, my first thought was, those are called boundaries. And no one had to teach him, no, don't touch me. I didn't hurt him. I didn't violate. I just went, I just punch him. It doesn't matter. He didn't want me to touch him because I'm a stranger. I thought those are boundaries. He has to be taught inappropriately that his body is mine and my property and that he can't say no because it offends me. And who does he think he is by saying no to me? That's all ridiculous and ridiculous. What he needs is to be protected, and he needs to be encouraged that saying no is completely appropriate. And so those needs, ideally, hopefully, he keeps those for the rest of his life. So, yeah, we will always be needy. That's okay to be needy. The question is whether or not we let those needs make decisions for us. When we want to let our child have his or her way, fine, but the adult makes the decision. Like I said, so there are times I'm like, I'm going to play. I've been working. My brain is tired. I need to watch a movie, play a video game, go on a walk, something, go play with the dog, something. And so if my adult goes, hey, I've got enough tasks finished. Let's go play. So, yeah, I'm needy. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes I go, no, not yet. All right, got a job to do. That's supposed to develop. Anyway, so good question. Very good. Yes, you will always be needy. The key is the wounded child is extra needy and tries to get those needs met by strangers and relatives and spouses. So I'm looking at my handout that's on sermon notes, which you have the handout already, but the most updated version is under sermon notes on the website and the app. And today we'll wrap it up, whether we like it or not. I'm sorry, we'll go ahead because we'll move on to Romans. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit when we wrap up today. So if it's okay with you, just to make sure I can finish my long-windedness, I'll talk for a little while, and if we have time for Q&A, we'll do some at then. I would love to have that. Is that okay? Now, is that okay? Okay, I guess you can walk out if you're that upset. You have boundaries. Now, if I'm not communicating clearly, if you don't understand because I miss it, please stop me. Please say, David, what did you mean by that? Help me understand. Please. I'm not a trained go over no matter what. I'm just saying is I can't pause too long and say, let's go off track for a while. So if it's related to let's do there. So last week, remember wrapping up, that is the child, I'm on basically the last part of the whole study. And so that is when wounded children try to get their needs met by other grown-ups, and I talked about those different things. Let me start where I ended, and that is to remind you of the healing process that we're talking about today particularly. And I've been sprinkling and healing things throughout the study. And that is the child can get what he or she needs by the self, by Jesus, and by healthy relationships. And I'll remind you of that. That means your own self. Literally in David's mind, I talk to myself this way. Literally. When I'm really, really anxious about something. My wounded child's really worked up. And I know what his anxiety is about. I know what his triggers are. And sometimes I'm still mad at him for having triggers, and I'm still healing from that. But in general, I'm not mad at him anymore for having triggers. I see him much more compassionately and lovingly, but I'm still a work in progress. So when he gets triggered and worked up, David, I love you. I'm proud of you. It's okay to feel anxious. We're safe. These feelings will come and go. This is normal. It's just our brain trying to keep us safe. I'm proud of you, doing a great job. Yep, I feel you. I hear you. You're nervous. Yep, you're nervous. Why are you nervous? And he tells me, yep, the same. We've worked on that a lot, haven't we? Yes, we have. Yep, and that's okay because I'm with you no matter if we worked on it 300 billion times or this is the first time. I'm not leaving you. I'm still with you. I'm with you. I love you and proud of you. We're going to make it through together. We can handle this. We're not alone. And I got you. Yeah, but what if nope. If he does, I'll defend that too. I just literally address myself that way over and over and over and over. And if he's really worked up and he's going, yeah, but, I go, stop. Stop. And sometimes I visualize looking at him. No, you're not in danger. You feel that way, and you can feel whatever you want to feel. But I will not let you think something false. I won't do it because it's not real. And as the adult, that's the one talking, I've got to make the decisions right now. And you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking clearly. No, I know. No, you're not. I know you think that, but you're irrational. You're supposed to be. But I'm rational. I'm the adult here. You're not going to make the decisions for us. So you can be worked up if you want, but I'm going to that meeting. I'm getting in the car. Come along. Let's go. I'm not kicking you out. I didn't say stay home. Let's go. No, you're not leading. Come back. No, I'm walking in the room first. Okay? Good. No. Okay? Good. Let's go. And every time he acts up, I give him chocolate. No, I talk encouraging. All right? You can be sweet to your child. That's inside. Instead of me, that wounded child, bursting in the room, waiting for someone to come make me feel better. No, I started and stopped that process. The second place to get it, I told you last time, is Jesus himself. You might say Scripture, and that is awesome. I don't start there typically because, in my experience, I told you, most people go to the Bible verses almost like a way to fuss at your child. Do you not have faith? Do you not trust Jesus? We covered this before. Have you not read Deuteronomy? We read Joshua 1:9. It says, do not be scared, be courageous, I'm with you. We read this when you were a kid. What's your problem? And that's exactly what we should not do. And so I start with as long as you're using Scripture verses as a form of encouragement, you're golden. You're right. Listen, baby, we're not alone. We're not alone. No, I know you feel that way, but Jesus goes before us. He's either God or he's not. And he said he's not going to orphan us. Do you think he's a liar? Really, do you think he's a liar? I don't think so. I know he's not because I remember the time he did this in our lives. Remember those times? Yeah, I do. Me too. You're scared right now and you're forgetting he's going to be with us in it. But what if there's no but. There's no but. He has never left us. He won't leave us. He has never orphaned us. He won't orphan us. He doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to abandon us. And he will give us the strength. But it can be scary. It can be scary. But scary's not danger. And God is with us as we go, and he will make sure he'll take care of whatever needs we have. That's what he said, until it's our time to die. When it's time to die, we'll see him face to face. It'll all be cool. Jesus, so I go back to Scripture, I quote things, I encourage myself, I visualize Jesus giving me a hug, I visualize Jesus being in the room. Sometimes even in the moment, if I'm really scared, maybe it's the car, the airplane, the office meeting, whatever, I can picture him in the room. And so I do picture him, I very much, but he's not fussing. He's consoling, he's encouraging, he's lovingly. And the third place we go to get these needs met, these needs that we're supposed to have met in childhood, been met, that is, of course, healthy relationships. Healthy relationships. People who can say, I'll be safe for you. I'll love on you. You don't have to be something you're not. You don't have to be okay and positive and look on the bright side. Give me Bible verses. If you're stressed, you're stressed. All right, let's do it. Come on. Yeah, what's wrong? Healthy relationships. Healthy relationships. They go, okay, I'm sorry you experienced that in childhood, man. That breaks my heart. But your mom's not here. Your dad's not here. I'm here, and I won't ever do that to you. I might disappoint you, but I'm never doing that. I'm so sorry that happened to you. It breaks my heart. No, it's okay. People go through bad things, David. Yes, they do. And I hear right now you're trying to make sure you're not suffering your own pain. But I'm encouraging you as your friend, please don't do that. Please come to your own rescue. Please try to receive encouragement. That's nutrients that God designed us to have. Please don't block that. Well, you don't want to hear my problems. You don't know what I want, and I'm your friend. And yes, I do. And I'm here with you. Though you're struggling with this, I'm not going to abandon you in this because I know you're having a real difficult time because of your woundedness, and I'm right with you. I'm not going anywhere. Now, that doesn't mean I have to agree with all the thoughts you have. In fact, I think my role as a Christian loving friend is to make sure you don't think false things. So when I hear false nonsense, I'm going to call it false nonsense because someone's got to say it. And you won't say it to yourself yet. So when I hear you say things like, no one can be trusted, I'm a horrible loser, I'm so dirty because of what happened to me, every time I hear that, I'm going to challenge it and say, no, that's false. That's false. Please do not say that about yourself. No, that's false. No, that's false. I love you too much to let you say that nonsense about yourself. Don't say it. So healthy Christian relationships can really be that adult ego state and nurturing parent ego state that comes to your child's rescue. But notice I left that last, right? Because it's the self, Jesus, and whatever. Now, self and Jesus, in my opinion, go real close together. I do. I think they real close together. The healthy relationships are vital. I don't go there first in healing typically, not that it's always a sequence 1, 2, 3. I just don't emphasize that one first because in my experience, wounded children go there they're not thinking healthy relationship, they're thinking mama, daddy, or caretaker, come take care of me. So healthy relationship means find a rescuer. Find someone who will coddle me, someone who will come to my rescue and make sure I never feel negative feelings. That's not a healthy relationship. That's just an enabler. And then you become codependent. The healthy relationship who says, Jennifer, I love you for you, and like a wild bronco, you're going to try your best to knock me off. You're going to deny every compliment I ever give you and encouragement, and you're going to go, oh, man, I don't care. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. Because I'm not here to make sure you're happy all the time. I'm here to make sure you're healthy. And I want you to do the same thing for me. Now, right now, you might be in a state, I'm being hypothetical, Jennifer, where you might not be able to be that kind of friend in reverse to me. I'm still okay with that. Because if I'm going to be that for you, I want to say is, yeah, Jennifer's going to have up days and down days, and she's going to have false belief and true beliefs. I do hope down the road, maybe Jennifer or some other friends, they'll come and challenge my false beliefs when she hears them. But I'm not going anywhere. And every time she goes, no, I'm going to say, no. Stop shaking your head at me. Stop doing it. You're such a good singer. Stop shaking your head. What's wrong with your head? What's wrong with your neck? Why does it twitch every time I say that? It's a neurological problem. Every time I get a compliment. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, if you don't want that, hypothetically, if Jennifer didn't want that, you're just going to be mad. That's why I said the wounded child wants rescuers. What she's going to hear if I'm saying those things, she will not be, and that's my next major point is, if she's not ready to hear it and doesn't want to hear it, she's going to make you mad, make you upset, because you'll start really tapping into a lot of grief, a lot of sadness, because part of you goes, he's right. He's right. I am blocking compliments a lot. Why am I doing that? Oh, he keeps saying I'm wounded. Oh, he's right. That reminds me of my child. It reminds me of this. It reminds me. Then grief wants to start coming up. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. She starts wanting to cry. That's healthy. It means the wounded child's now having a chance to get attention. Finally, someone's acknowledging the pain I went through. But scary if you're not used to that. But good friends are there through that process. Now, good friends aren't therapists. They don't have to be therapists. And they're not priests either. Tell me all your sins. Here's cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are maladaptive coping practices. No, that's not. Friendship is there to be a safe place as this process goes along. They don't have to even know what the answers are. It's just, I love you. Okay, talk to me. You want to cry? I got some tissue. I'll cry with you. Okay. You don't need to be something that you're not around me at all. I don't have all the answers. No one has all the answers. So healthy friends, so that's the healthy relationships part. There's more there, but I'm just giving you, summary clip. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So if you don't want to hear that, you won't like healthy friends, and that's why I'm encouraging you to do these things. These are three things: yourself, Jesus, and healthy relationships are very good. Very, very good. Now that's a quick review, but a little bit from last week I wanted to emphasize more. We were on the last few minutes of the class. So the penultimate footnote, Roman numeral, and that is they disallow their own needs because they feel guilty for having them. Wounded children, this is in general. In general, wounded children feel guilty for having needs. Why is that? Because their needs were vitiated. That means devalued, they were made fun of, they were avoided, they were punished by their caretakers. So I got to go pee-pee, right? Driving the car. Hold it! We just went 5 hours ago. Do you think that 2-year-old can hold her bladder? Do you really think she's doing that to spite you? To mess up your schedule? What are you crying about? You want something to cry about? How about a dad who beat me? You don't know what pain is. Buck up. Every single time, those legitimate healthy needs are vitiated. Come on. Nobody wants to hear all that. To this, I'm always trying to be as open as I can be. To this very day, I was just telling Lane yesterday, can't believe Illinois weather. It's so beautiful out there on the porch in the morning. I mean, I can't believe this. I grew up my whole life where you go outside and you're sweating instantaneously. It's like, this is amazing. Got to on an air conditioner. We're out there in devotional and talking and whatnot, and I said, to this very day, I still hear feel this false belief, and it's false, but I still don't fully believe it's false belief, that my brother taught me. He's different now, but back when he was younger, he was a bully, a bad bully to me. And he used to get so irritated if I told a story more than a few seconds. Come on, man. God, hurry up. You're taking forever. I hear that voice loudly every single time I speak to any person ever, including sermons. Sometimes during sermons, it's hard not to black out because I hear that voice so loudly that everyone in the room is going, God in heaven, will he stop? Thank you. Elaine said, baby, people come to, I don't believe that fully. I don't. I'm like, no. When I tell stories to people, even Elaine, I'll stop after a few seconds and she go, what? I go, I don't think you're listening. Why not? I go, I'm not fussing at you. I'm just convinced you're not listening. I'm looking at you. I'm saying that belief is so strong. I'm thinking you've tuned out and I'm just making you ticked off. And I don't want you to be ticked off. That's one of my triggers. So the need was a child to tell a normal story and not be made fun of or bullied. That need doesn't get met, and so you become shameful to have the need. I wish someone would just listen to me. And that's what happens. So thus they feel guilty for having needs, so they suppress them at all cost. And so to this very day, I don't talk much around people. I don't. And one of the reasons, though, is because and this is true, I do not assume ever they want to hear me talk. I'm sorry. When I'm around people who I'm like, why do you assume the person in front wants to hear you go on and on and on? So I assume that. And then on top of that, I have the belief that they really don't want to hear me talk. So I tend to, but that's not fully healthy. Anyway, so wounded children can do all kinds of things in feeling guilty. You don't have to mark all these off your list, but these are common for wounded children. These are common. They reject compliments. Why? Because you can't receive a compliment. Why? Because I'm guilty for having the need. I'm guilty for having that, whatever it was, whatever I did, I have to reject that. They reject help from others because these are people who get ticked off when you say, I'm sorry for you. Don't feel pity on me. I don't see strength. I see instantaneous, fragile, wounded child. What do you mean you don't have pity? Have you met a human? Are you a Christian? The New Testament's full of that. We're supposed to have pity and grace and encouragement and love on people. Yes, we are. The fact that you reject it is not about the person who's giving it. It's about you. You're scared to receive it. Why are you scared to receive it? I guarantee it goes back to your childhood. I've counseled too many people. This is so true. If you reject help from people, you're wounded. You're fragile, including narcissists. Some are just genuine psychopaths. Okay. But most narcissists have been wounded. They reject help. They reject pity. They reject love. It's very hard for wounded children to receive love. They don't feel worthy of it. Love is a legitimate, healthy need. They don't feel worthy of health needs because they were vitiated, made fun of, hurt, harmed, kicked out, excised. That's not what mom and dad ever said that. It doesn't matter if they said it. It matters if that's what they communicated. And so it's very difficult to this day. I know many married couples. I know people who've been divorced multiple times. Like, I just can't get close to people. So they don't need to be fussed at. They need to be healed. Figure out, why is that? Why are you blocking? What is that? Why can't you feel bonded to a person? Well, there's work for that. That's just a wounded child. And since their needs never go away because they're healthy and legitimate, right, Jennifer, like we said, needs don't go away, right? I have the need to feel loved. I have that need. That's a normal human. I have a feeling of love. I have the need to feel validated. Sure I do. Do I do everything I do in life for that? Of course not. But it's a legitimate, healthy need to feel anybody. I mean, people who don't get hugged or touched or looked at ever, the depression, they've done studies where people go through decades and are never touched. Ever. They're never touched. That's sad. I mean, infants, of course, go through horrible depression, and it scars them from a life if they're not touched. It can kill them. So it's a real legitimate healthy need, but I can go a long list of healthy needs. Safety, my boundaries, my body being respected, my emotional state, not being yelled at all the time, not being cussed at, not having people do scary things even around me, whether it be sexual, addictions, alcohol, drugs, all these things. These needs don't go away, but since we didn't have them, they were rejected. We didn't have them met. And their neediness keeps creeping up all the time because their child state is always going to be needy. What they do in response is they feel what, of course? It's in your handout. They feel shame. I have these needs. They won't go away, but I keep feeling them. But they won't go away, but I shouldn't feel them. But they won't go away, but I shouldn't feel them. There must be something wrong with me. There must be something wrong with me that I shouldn't have these needs, but I keep having these needs. And that's the definition of shame. Guilt is I've done something wrong. Shame is there's something wrong with me. Shame is unhealthy for a Christian. I shouldn't be asking. I shouldn't need their help at all. I'm bad for needing. There's something wrong with me. So the wounded child who suffers from terrible anxiety in this study we talked about, they feel this anxiety every time those needs creep up. Oh, it makes me nervous. I shouldn't need their hug. I shouldn't need their attention. I shouldn't need it. No. Okay, just keep it quiet. But I'm really hurting, and I wish someone would just tell me that it's going to be okay. No. And so this inner war of the critical parent that tells them, keep your mouth shut. And the child goes, I feel so guilty. I don't know what's wrong with me for having these needs to be loved. And you're supposed to come to the rescue and say, these needs are so healthy. You never would have learned that it's bad to have these needs had you had caretakers who incessantly fostered that lovingness. That every time as a baby, someone came to your rescue, it taught you it's okay to have needs because someone's going to come help me. But when you don't have someone going to help you, it teaches you that they won't come help me. Back to the wounded child, they see the world as dangerous. And you have to be fiercely independent. But that's scary because children know they can't do it on their own. And so they over-respond and they get over-responsible and they got to take care of everyone else's needs all the time. And their little wounded child dressed up in a mama's dress or a daddy's outfit because he's trying so hard to take care of everyone else's needs because he can't have them. He's not allowed to. There's too much shame in that. And so I come to church and I say, God forgave me. But deep down inside, as I met $1 for every time I met this person who says it, deep down inside, yeah, I know he's forgiven me. I know it. And they start shaking their head. Like even as they say it, I know he's forgiven me. They shake their head like, no. Oh, I know it. And I go, I bet you do know it. I don't think you believe it. Of course I don't know what you mean. I think you know it's true. I don't think you believe it's true. Because if you believed it's true, you would not live in constant agony of shame. I don't understand. Dave, you mean if you think that if I have love and God loves me and I'm a new creation? No, that means you're arrogant. You're conceited. No, it doesn't. I'm so sorry you believe that. I'm so sorry you believe that. It doesn't mean you're conceited. It doesn't. Because I was always taught that if you thought that you're loved and lovable, valuable to God at all, that means you're a punk and you're a bigot and you're conceited and who do you think you are? And, whatever mom and dad taught me. I'm so sorry you were taught that. They were wrong. No, 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 David. You don't understand. They tried their best. They tried their best. Listen, man, their mom beat him all the time. The alcohol, and you don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that the best you got wasn't good enough. You deserve more because you exist. I'm so sorry. We're going to work on some beliefs together, okay? Because whenever I hear you say anything to me that sounds false, that's not healthy, that's not supported by good theology, I'm going to challenge it. Okay? No, it's not okay. Nope, nope. I'm 100 years old. I've been doing it all my life. You don't understand. If I don't have these thoughts and beliefs, I don't know what to do with who am I then? Who am I? And then all of a sudden the sadness comes over me because finally a little wounded child starts to grieve and goes, someone's finally listening for a second. And it's probably like a 2-year-old level. And shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. Can't have needs. Here we go. Nope, stop drying it up. I can't cry. I can't because I can't. Let's talk about that too. We go on and on. This shame is unhealthy. It's blocking you up. And I'm going to here to rescue. I'm not fussing at you for being shameful because that's what your children do. All I'm saying is I am going to fuss at the person who told you those false beliefs because they're wrong to have done that. Regardless of their motivation, regardless of their background, you shouldn't have been taught that. And so I'm going to come to your rescue from now on. I'll be honest with you, wounded child, I don't have all the answers myself either. I don't, because you know what? I still kind of believe you when you talk. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes the things you say, I still put into practice. That makes me kind of mad. Not mad at you, kind of, not really though. Makes me more mad at the people who told us that. So what I'm going to do is, to make sure I'm trying to learn it right, I'm going to devour all the literature and videos and conferences and talks I can go to so that I will help us grow up and heal. How's that sound? Scary, I don't want to do it. I believe you, but that's why you don't make the decisions from now on. Because if we did that, we would do nothing, just be driven by fear. And that won't happen anymore. But I'm terribly anxious. I'm so sorry you're anxious. It's okay to be anxious. I'm with you even when you're anxious. You can feel what you want to feel. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. We're going to go exercising, get a massage. We're going to eat healthily, get some good sleep. We're going to help that anxiety come out of your body. But it's going to come back, and that's okay. Whether it comes and whether it goes, I'm not leaving your side ever, ever, ever. Do you understand me? In the meantime, I'm going to be journaling and this and this. And every single time you start to feel sad, I'm going to let you cry. I'm going to hug you and love on you. And I can't do that. I believe you. Not yet. Not yet. I can't do that. That's not true at all. You've not had a good time doing it so far in the past, but it's a new day. It's a new day. And so little by little, at your pace, you're going to see you can trust me to be a nurturing place on the inside. I can't do that. Everyone make fun of me. No, they won't. No, they won't. I will go to a deserted island if that's what it takes to help you grieve, because I will make sure that comes out. You're going to see from now on, we're safe. Moreover, I'm going to implement the things I've been learning through these books and videos and conferences and praying and journal. And over time, we're both going to grow up. We're going to learn so much together. Are you sure? Are you sure we can get better? I think so. I think so. The reason why I think so is because people who are specialists who've done this their entire lives and they have about 100 years worth of conglomerate education and knowledge about this, and people with full-time career, they write books and stuff that I read for free, and I'm pretty good at comprehending them and practice in my own life. And they tell me, if you do the work, you'll get better. You want to try it? Well, I do, but I'm scared. I understand. I tell you what if we keep doing it your way, what will change? Right? Nothing, right? So what if they're wrong? Well, then I'll be disappointed. Yeah, but aren't you sad already? What if it's right? And what if you start feeling better? So that's what we're going to try to do, it little by little, step by step. This dialogue I just had is very similar to what I had my own self when I started working on some things in my life about, oh man, I'm getting old, 15, 20 years ago. That I could tell you, I won't because of time, but I can, if you want after, I'll tell you exactly. There was a scenario, and I had that exact kind of conversation. It didn't last so long, but that's exactly what happened in my mind and heart. That's exactly what happened. So the child has needs. That's okay. Child's wounded. Child feels anxiety for having needs and feels shame for feeling the needs. And we need to come to his or her rescue and say, it's okay not to feel the shame. It's okay. But David, aren't we all sinners? Yes, we're sinners. Well, does that mean there's something wrong with us? Yes. But does that mean you're purposeless, value less, love less? No. Are you unworthy? Yes. Are you worth less? No. Why would Jesus die for a worthless piece of trash? So stop calling yourself that. Stop thinking that about yourself. I don't care what you were taught. You have got to come to your rescue and say, stop. Look at the cross. How else do we demonstrate, I love you. I don't love trash. You're lovable. You're not worthy of this. No, that's right. No one's worthy. It's called grace. I know it in 4 languages. That's right. No, you don't. You just not deserve it, but you're not worthless. The reason why you feel worthless is because of shame, and you need to get that out. And I'll talk more in a minute. Okay, so the last thing we'll wrap up, and any question or comments you have about this, there's plenty of tissue around, so use all the tissue you want. Take deep breaths. I know I'm touching on some stuff. Take some deep breaths. And so your wounded child can heal. When I had adhesive capsulitis, his nickname is frozen shoulder. They don't sure what causes it, but stuff happens in your shoulder, and nerve endings or whatever get kind of frozen, not literally cold, but they can't move. Yeah, they can't. And so I used to pull the cord on a little push mower, and I'm sorry, Dustin, I cry. It hurt. I go, and it would hit the perfect nerve. It felt what I imagine someone ripping out a nerve with their hand or something, and it'd go limp, and I just tear. I mean, it hurt. So I thought, that's weird. Maybe I'm just, not sleeping on it funny. Sometimes I throw the baseball, and it would just go limp. And then finally I go to the doctor, and he's a specialist, and he walks out, and that's a kind of a funny story too. Anyway, so he walks in, and he goes, do this? I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, you'll need surgery. I go, I mean, you can talk to me. He said, yeah, this is. I said, I have some motion. He goes, no. And he pushed my motion. He goes, now do it. And I went like this, instead of this. And he goes, I go, oh my goodness. He said, you were compensating. You were doing this. And he goes, yeah, you need surgery. And we go in there, we pulverize it, da-da-da. Okay, so after good physical therapy, I go in there, I get the surgery. While I'm completely under, they manipulate all the way back. They do some lasers and all this stuff. So I have a barnacle. I can throw 100 miles. I'm kidding, I don't. So I came back out, it was all swollen, and then I have to do months of physical therapy. You had 4 or 5 days a week, and you do, all kinds of stuff. And the worst part of the whole thing is when you're lying on a table, supine, on your back, and he's doing this. He's standing there, and he's going for 30 minutes. And he'll lean into it, and then the next day it's a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And right now it's still tight. And it hurt so badly, I started giggling. He goes, what are you laughing at? I said, it's either crying or laughing. This is so painful. And he said, honestly, there's people all around this room doing, working on knee surgery, shoulder. He said, surgery's what I understand, shoulder is the worst. It's the most painful. Now it's competition. I go, well, I guess that's kind of good, but whatever. It's still, it hurt so badly. And the only thing that kept me on the table, and I told him this, the only reason I didn't spend the rest of my life just doing this is because a specialist told me if I did the homework through this physical therapy, I'd get my range of motion back. I was trusting him. And in that instance, I understood fully the concept of certain pains being redemptive in Christian vocabulary. Redemptive. So in that sense, pain is directional. We're going somewhere. Now, at first, everything in me said, you are crazy. This guy needs to be murdered. All he's doing is torturing you. Like C.S. Lewis saying, go to the dentist. Everything in says, I know he's stable and he's an authority figure. He's trying to kill me. And so the child thinks crazy things like that. But I had a whole time, no. And as soon as I was starting a little more progress, I started believing it. He's onto something. He's not a lunatic trying to torture me. He might be trying to torture me, but it's actually working. And over time, I got more and more range of motion. Okay, in a very similar way, I'm telling you, whether you believe me or not, really, whether you see me as authoritative or not, fine, go to some other authoritative therapist that you know. I guarantee you, if they're worth anything at all, they're going to tell you, stay on the table. I guarantee you can heal from this. Will you get perfect range of motion all the way back all the time with no? Probably not. Depends on the person. Like I can have full range of motion, but I feel the tightness. I feel it. It's not killing me, but I'm okay with that. Is it functional? Is it manageable? Yeah. I do some stretches. Yeah. You can heal. If you don't want to, don't. Just means you're listening to a afraid, wounded child that says, no, they're trying to kill me. I mean, you can. I just wouldn't make that decision. I think that's unwise. It's your decision to make. It's not you're not in prison. I'm not making you make an indecision. I'm just begging you to be open to the idea that the old joke goes, there's therapy for that. There just is. David, it's so hard. It is. Oh, it hurts. Yes, it does. I don't want to do it. I agree. But you're telling me I can actually, if I do the homework, things get better? Yes, I am. I don't only just teach this stuff, I live it. I'm living a journey proof of it. I'm not where I want to be just yet. But boy, am I farther along. Farther along. Southern Gospel. Okay. So she or he just needs to be reparented. That's the wounded child needs to be reparented. Your child needs, A, to be reclaimed. I want you back. Is that NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? Okay. You don't know who they are. So I want you back. Constant nurturing, validation, and safety to be a child. And the grief's going to happen in this process. The best book on this subject, which I recommend later on, is called Homecoming. That's the very best book I've read on the subject. You need to reclaim that wounded child, because if you have a wounded child in you, and that child feels shame and guilt all the time, it means you have what we might call exile that part of you. So he or she is always in the distance, like in the shadow, kind of doing this. And she follows you, or he in the back, whatever border in the background, but she can't speak up because you haven't talked to her in years. And every time she goes, I'm kind of sad. Oh. And so reclaiming means you go back and say, I want you to come all the way up here and sit in my lap, as it were. And we're going to have a talk from now on. From now on, you are never, ever going to walk far behind me. You're going to hold my hand. You won't lead, but you're sure not going to stay way back there. I'm going to hold your hand everywhere we go. And so that reclaiming is a powerful thing to do. And that takes time. Now, these are just overview. Good counseling will help you get to that process. But it starts by recognizing it, giving yourself that validation, and saying, you know what? Anyway, that book is great. Letter B, reparenting, firm, kind challenges to every single false belief. And you heard me try to give that as an example just a couple times, several times through this whole study, while I'm pretending to talk to my child ego state. I'm so sorry you feel XYZ. It's okay to feel XYZ, but you cannot believe XYZ. I will challenge every false belief you have. I won't challenge your feelings. Remember, feelings are just like the thermostat at 72. How dare it say 72? That's ridiculous. Who do you think you are? You should feel guilty for feeling 72. That's just the dumbest thing ever. It tells you what it perceives to be the ambient temperature in the room. So your feelings might be based on something irrational, but I won't pay attention to it. They're just feelings. They're that danger radar that says, am I in danger? Listen to the radar. Then decide whether that radar is really onto something. But if you believe, oh, there is a bear in the room. No, there's not. There's no bear. I'm sorry you feel anxiety right now, but there is no bear in the room. And if you still keep thinking that, we need to go to a therapist. That might be a schizophrenic sign or a psychotic sign that you're having a difficulty with imaginations. And we can talk about it. There's therapy for that. There's therapy for that. So you reclaim the child where the child feels validated and safe to be a child. 2, you firm kind challenges. To make B and C work, you've got to be clear. C. And C is you've got to replace those false beliefs with true belief. You got to replace the false belief with true beliefs. You can't just stop the false belief. You replace it with a true belief. Not, no one can be trusted. That's false. But rather, no one can be trusted. That's false. What is true is some people can be trusted. Some people can't be trusted, but some people can be trusted. And over time, if you do that enough, over time is you stop thinking false beliefs. You only start thinking true beliefs. And there'll come a time you go, man, I used to really struggle with that. I haven't thought that in hours, weeks, months, years. I had a breakthrough. I think it's a breakthrough. It hasn't happened since about a year ago. I was telling Lane yesterday when I was reflecting on my own issues. And it was a big epiphany. It was a big deal. It's a big deal in my work. And it was roughly a year ago. And since then, it hasn't happened one time. I said, that's a big deal. She goes, it's a big deal. She was validating. And I didn't need her to be, but that was sweet. It was a treat. And I said, it's a big deal. And I look back and go, praise. I was thanking God, tearing up. Thank you, God. I used to, for years, I struggle with disassociation. It's when you're really, really anxious, you feel like you're leaving your body. And I haven't done that in over a year. I mean, that's a big deal for